because I don't apparently remember high school trig and geometry. Let's see if tonight goes any better. Space police. Wonder if they. Anyway. Uh, oh, fun. Input. Okay. Curve. Bring the robot. Instructions. Oh, this is fun. Always move forward exactly one. Oh, wait. On the rear panel, study ship. Detect the color of the current panel. Paint its current. Oh, fun. So everybody who tried to make this thing even more generic is not really going to work for this. Okay. Running. Oh, so we don't have any example inputs tonight. That's interesting. All right. So we have our dictionary. Have um put output. Put output. Well, so I have to keep track of start out all black. 0 is black, 1 is white. Black and 1 is why is that not? Oh, right. Cool. So I'm gonna take a page out of some of my coworkers' books. Direction, left, right, turns. It should word exactly one. Okay. So if we are start out with 0, which means we're facing up. X is -1. Oh, X is 0. Y is 1. So increment 1, we're going to turn right there, and then 0 +1. Actually, no, simulate. Write two values out. Get input, output. Okay. Row. Oh, was that part I converted? Right. That's when we output if we are say panel Y output. Output. Okay, with that. If it's a 0, that means we should turn left. Right. Now X. Oh. I may just be that way for 4. Okay, so I do have to do Y. Now we're in a new orientation. Flip and we wait for the next output. 8. Okay. Estimate the number of panels. Okay. Panels is that count. Oh, that's right. 38, baby. All right. Eight capital letters. Wait, what? Definitely. White pen. What registration identifier does it? Okay. plus. Okay. RZKER. 27. Nice. Okay, so let's step back just a little bit here. Twice, one false, and one second, or the second version of it. Actually, what's the first one? One draw is a very funny look. Wow, and that's all from starting on the different on the first one. First one black versus first one white. Wow. Oh, it was 2040 done? Yeah, it is. The thing, like, with all this encode stuff, it's like, I'd love to see the code that generated these things. Like, that you could feed in letters like this, and it would spit out the program to draw. And it does it with only drawing 240. So actually, I don't know what. Man, that's. Yeah. If I had to guess, there's actually two different programs embedded in this, and it really only checks that input value once, and it spits out this thing if it sees the input value as black, and this thing if it sees it as white, or something like that. Because no one's actually going to take that code apart. Well, okay, I shouldn't say no one. Someone is absolutely going to take that code apart and try to figure out what's going on. The rest of us are just going to copy paste in the input. Oh, actually, shoot! I just realized. Look, my mic was too far away. I probably couldn't have even heard half of what I said. But anyway, so how this was different than our other ones. Before I had rigged up blocking collections for input and output, which has served well for that that coroutine problem. It's like day 7-ish, 7. Yeah, the one where you had the thruster chain where you had to pass the data around between them. Worked beautiful for that. I used threads, blah, blah, blah. Well, in this case, our inputs and outputs are some other state. It's not a linear series of values like it was before, which is a nice, clever twist. It makes you figure out how to stuff values into your encode computer while it's running. So in this case, I did it I handle input by passing in a func that will return integers, and when it's time to set an output, I'll just provide a function for it to call. So all I really had to do then was, and this is a trick that some of my coworkers who are a little better at maze solving than I am, turned me on to it. You could write one of these like, if direction equals 1, then x, or if direction equals 0, then y equals y minus 1. If direction equals 1, then this. This kind of a pattern where you effectively encode the transformation to do as a series of array options, and then you just keep track of the direction you're currently pointing. It was actually rather clever. So that helps us handle the manipulations, and since our output, let's see, where is it? It'll output a value saying the color to paint the panel. So we effectively, this output function has to switch back and forth between painting, which is what it starts out as, and then when it's not painting, then it's moving. and movements are always, it's always a turn and move. So it's not, this isn't one of those robot or one of those navigating things where it turns and moves independently. Everything's a turn and move. So all you have to do is keep track of the direction and then offset by that, or apply the direction change, which actually, this is the primary part of the direction change, and this normalizes it to 0 to 1. Then we apply the change to x and y based on that. And we're good to go, because then x and y are updated for the next time input gets called. Fill that in, and we're off in business. Yeah, and then from that, it's a little bit of an output thing and so on. Personal stats. So I moved up noticeably from part 1 to part 2, which is interesting because I don't. It's not like I was overly like all I had to do was add this part up here to set the first one to white, and then add things to dump out. I guess maybe some people found a more clever solution to part 1 that didn't extend quite as well to part 2. But let's see, we're at 389 now. Ooh, that puts me on the board. Nice. 84th place. And where did we close leaderboard for tonight? Close already? Yeah, leaderboard closed at 15 minutes. Actually, it just closed because we're at 16 right now. Man, whoever this Betaveros is, that person is up there, gosh, just about every day. Well, it's not as much of a lead as I actually expected. A bigger lead here. It's only 100 points. Yeah, I mean, look at how quickly the scores drop off. Actually, we're interested to see this graph. It looks like our split point is like there's still not many. The first 20 people from first down to 20th is 1,000 points. From 20th down to last is only another 450. Interesting. A lot of 700s, 6s. Oddly, 7s. There's more 7s than 6s, which is odd. And then a lot of 5s and 4s. And then I'm here fighting in the upper 3s. I mean, it's tight. It gets really tight when you get down to these ranges. Because let's see, 50. 591 is 50th and 334. But the thing is when you're in these ranges, you have a day like what I just had tonight. I picked up 137. See, I can do high school math. Or I guess it's elementary math. I picked up 137 points in one night. It's not quite like the 85 points I got from part 2 of day 6. Man, 5 and 6 I did really well on. And then I kept getting tripped up with wrong solutions in these. But yeah. So I guess it turned out all right. I guess yeah, this is one of the weeknight ones. So the weeknight ones tend to be simpler solves, although I definitely tried to disprove that last night, taking an hour and 20 to get the second part. But that's just because I don't know how to do math. But yeah, so for a early Tuesday morning one, this was pretty short, but that's kind of to be expected. This is what is this? Is this the 5th, I think, Encode one? This was at least a little interesting because it added yet another flavor of input and output. In fact, it almost feels like the thing that we're aiming for this year is how many different variations of ways to feed input and output and different things can we solve with these Encode computers. But yeah, I don't know. There's some debate going on amongst my coworkers on the how much fun are these Encode ones. I don't know. I'm on the fence. This one, I think this one would have been better if we would have had a real example to go off of. I'm just worried people are going to, because we don't have a program to do for this one. So it'd have been nice if we would have gotten like a small example program to feed through this. All we got was a series of inputs and outputs, which I guess maybe you could have figured out a way to feed the inputs and outputs without running Encode. But I don't know. Do they? I'm curious what they put. These are. There's one of these. I'm really hoping one of these is HTFU from the CCP team that does Eve. Yes, yes, this one. All right, I'm gonna do this. This is from this is from a video that CCP, the group behind Eve, did. Gosh, many years, several years ago. Um, that was just really. What is this? Oh, that's Portal. Okay. Yeah, I love that. That's the thing they linked to. Although it'd have been better if they would have linked to the actual. Like is this just this is just a loop of this is just somebody did a loop of that clip from the thing. Yes, somebody literally put a loop of that. Actually, no, I guess the CCP devs did a loop of that for 5 hours. Talk about that would get annoying really quickly, but that song is actually it's I don't know I thought it was pretty well done for a bunch of game developer geeks, but so I guess anyway I guess we'll call that a night. Again, yeah, more into code, but I got some points, so I guess I could be happy with that. Night.